My name is Curtis Ferguson. For someone who has spent much time with the President George W. Bush, I must say I was overwhelmed with enthusiasm, inspired by the presentation that my friend here just did. I was in the audience, I was in tears, both for joy, both for excitement. He is so authentic, and the height, everything is so incredible. I thought I was literally there with President George W. Bush. I must say, this was incredible. If you can, this guy is the real deal. This is the Coca-Cola you want to order right here. If you can, get him. I promise you, you will be blessed. His message is powerful. He's a patriot. He loves our president as I do, and I think you will not regret it at all.
There are two sides to every single story, the passion and the glory, just trying to make it through the day. You know we're trying to come together, arm in arm and hand in hand, and with my brother I will fight to unify our land. America, home of the brave, we stand strong when we're willing to change. And I will wash the feet of freedom and bow down on my knees, praying for a healing, fighting for the freedom of my brother and me. And on the other hand, there are those who would undo us, unruly who would rule us and break us all apart. And I will stand beside you and fight against injustice and lawless ones among us. Come on, let freedom reign. America, home of the brave, we stand strong when we're willing to change. And I will wash the feet of freedom and bow down on my knees, praying for a healing, fighting for the freedom of my brother and me. E pluribus unum, get your guitars and tune them, melody and harmony, let's make a little revelry. E pluribus unum, get your guitars and tune them, melody and harmony, let's make a little revelry. E pluribus unum, get your guitars and tune them, melody and harmony, let's make a little revelry. Bring that guitar. My brother and me, fighting for the freedom of my brother and me, America.
Hey, this is Al Robertson from Duck Dynasty and Duck Commander. I want to tell you about a great book called War on Fear from my good buddy, John Morgan. Of course, he looks like George W. Bush, who had the famous War on Terror, so I immediately knew, there was a nice a bit of wordplay there. This book is fantastic. I think it speaks to sort of that natural fear that all of us have, whether it's public speaking or whether it's the first time you get asked to do something you've never done before, up to, the fear of loss of life, of a sick person in your family, all the things that we face every single day. I recommend this highly. I promise you will be blessed when you read this book, and it's the sort of book that after you read it, you're going to want to pass that on to someone else, which to me are the best kind of books. So War on Fear, get yours as soon as you can.
Greetings, everybody. Wait. Sorry about that. Greetings, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome to the John Morgan Show. I am so pleased to be with you today. What a joy to spend just a few minutes with everyone before they have their awesome dinner. And I wanted to share with you something that happened to me. I was driving a white, like a big van, not a huge box van, but a full-size van, not a minivan, but a full-size van down the highway. And it was at night, very dark out, and I went to pass a car was speeding past me, and I don't know why, I decided I wanted to pass him. So I drove around in the speed lane, in the fast lane, to pass this car, which I did pass him. And for some weird reason, right as I finished passing this other car, I actually fell asleep. And the reason I knew I fell asleep is the next thing I knew, I woke up. And I was awakened and realized that I couldn't see anything because my eyes were still closed. And I jerked because of waking up, and I swerved the van. Sorry about the noise on the microphone there. I swerved because I didn't know where I was. And so I was able to get control of the van back, and so it was going straight, but I still couldn't see anything. And I didn't know, am I hitting for a tree? Am I about to die? Am I about to hit this other car? Oh my goodness, what do I do? And then I realized I was in my bed and the whole thing was a dream. And the reason I couldn't see was because my eyes were closed. It was really funny. I almost woke Kathy up to tell her about it because I awoke to such a start. And that reminds me of a time back when Kathy and I were young. We used to have this real free-form waterbed that we slept on. It's before they put baffles and things. It was one of the early waterbeds. And that thing was sloshy. And Kathy was 8 months pregnant. She was very, very pregnant. And Kathy does not like spiders. Who does? I'm not a big arachnid fan myself. My son Stephen is even less of one than am I. And Kathy used to, Janet Lemon, welcome. Good to see you. I know, right? So Kathy used to, sadly, she would see spiders crawling on the ceiling over our head once in a while, as we would sleep. And she would wake me up and say, honey, there's a spider on the ceiling. And I would say, babe, there's not a spider on the ceiling. And she would say, yes, there is. And I'd say, no, there isn't. And she would say, how do you know? And I'd say, because it's dark in our room. If there was a spider up there, you wouldn't be able to see it. So she had been dreaming that she saw a spider on the ceiling, and I mean, I had to correct her. I mean, one time we did, and I think this is probably where it started. We did have one of those, big clunkers, one of those spiders on our wall one time, and Kathy was afraid because you never know if a spider's going to jump and come and get you or what. And so she was afraid and told me, get the spider. Well, I cannot kill insects. I try, but for some reason, maybe it's mercy, maybe it's my subconscious love of insects that I don't even know about. I can't kill insects by hitting them or by throwing things at them. I am the worst. One time I threw an entire wet towel at one of those great big mosquitoes, that buzz around, and I missed it by 2 inches. I don't know. I missed them. So Kathy said, kill it. And I hit it with a shoe, missed it, and it ran behind our nightstand next to the bed. And Kathy's sloshing, has big belly, because she's pregnant in this free-form waterbed. And then so I got the bug spray because you can't miss it with bug spray, right? So I hate getting that horrible Raid smell in the room, but for her peace of mind, we had to get it. So I sprayed all back behind and underneath the nightstand, and it came running out, and it was on the wall. So I went and quick got, was it a glass or a bowl? I don't remember which. And I cupped it like that, and I got it. And I said, Kathy, come here, hold this. And she says, what? And I said, I'll get something. And so she grabbed it, and I just sat back and went, I kind of laughed at her a little bit. Then we slid a paper under it and took the whole thing out and got rid of it. But my point of sharing both of those stories is this. It's important to know when you're asleep and when you're awake, and what to do when you're asleep and when you're awake. And it's so funny. Kathy got to the point after I corrected her so many times about the dark ceiling and you wouldn't be able to see the spider, that she would wake up or think she was waking up and see the spider and go to wake me up. And then she would say, oh no, that's right. If it was really a spider, I wouldn't be able to see it. So she would actually talk herself out of waking me up and just go back to sleep. So she solved her own problem, or we solved it together as a couple, whatever. But there is an idea of being asleep in the daytime. There is a such thing as not recognizing the signs of the times and how important it is for us to not be asleep at the wheel. And dads, I'm speaking specifically to you who have children in your home. Moms, I guess you too, but mostly dads, because we're the patriarchs, we're the ones who really are the gatekeepers of our home. And in terms of what we allow our children to view, what we allow our children to listen to, we need to be awake and aware that there is trouble about. I read a thing today about the insidious plan of certain groups, and Planned Parenthood is one of them, to sexualize our children. And come on, really? You're going to take away their little bit of time that they have to be innocent of these things? And what they're saying is it's kids, it's children's right to choose when they will become sexually active. But in having this conversation in grade school, middle school, high school, their plan is they've done this all around the world. Their plan is to awaken children to their sexuality. In the book of Proverbs, it says, and I can't remember where the verse is, but it says, don't awaken passion before the proper season. And how I wish I had not been abused in second grade, and how I wish I had not had problems in my own life that awakened sexuality in me way before it should have been awakened, because that caused problems for me my whole life. And folks, we need to guard our homes. We need to watch our televisions. We need to watch what our kids look at on computers. And there are great programs that help us to do this. Programs like Covenant Eyes, which is a program that you can apply to your laptop, to your phones, to your iPads. And if anyone goes beyond the parameters that you set, an alert is given to the accountability partners of those who are in this together. And bros can link arms and hold one another accountable in this way. And it's a great way to serve those that you care about and to keep out intruders. Because folks, we've got to be awake and realize there is an insidious devil out there who has no mercy on you, no mercy on your children, and absolutely intends to destroy your family. You know, in my book, War on Fear, I talk about how fear is already at war with us. Fear is not passive. And the devil isn't passive, but fear is not passive. It is already attacking us. And we have a choice. We can just sit back and say, oh, it's just the way things are. Kids are going to do what kids are going to do. And, this is the way that, or we can say, I will take authority over the power of darkness in my home. I will be awake. I will be fully awake. I will fight the good fight of faith. It's called a fight for a reason. We have all the tools and the weapons of our warfare, as it talks about in Ephesians chapter 6. And we can come against the power of the enemy and push it back through prayer. And that is such a, people say, oh, come on, prayer is really meaningless. It's just words. They don't really mean anything. I beg to differ. We have amazing power through our prayer to release the power of God, to watch over our children. Kathy and I have been praying people, and it's so funny. My son Stephen was visiting Kathy and I this week, and we talked for hours upon hours, and he's sharing some new sensitivities that he's come. My family background is such that we are not by nature. My family has not by nature been empathetic, sensitive people. We tend to not. Now, as for me, a lot of it stemmed from the bullying that I encountered as a kid. I mean, I went through, and some of you guys are my classmates all the way back from St. James. I was teased and picked on back at St. James, and I'm not naming names, but, I just went through a lot. I went through a lot of crap back then. And what I eventually did was I shut down my emotions so that I stopped being hurt. But the problem was a byproduct of shutting down the hurt was it also shut down the love. I did not have for many years the ability to feel or understand what love was. And I remember thinking to myself, if my parents died, how would I fake cry at their funeral? Because even though it would be sad that they died, I probably would not feel the emotional loss of them in my life because I bottled down and repressed, as Stephen would put it, my feelings for so long that they just became locked in a cage. Well, that's a side issue. I've been praying, and my kids have been praying for me, and Kathy and I have been praying for each other, that God would reawaken our sense of empathy, our sense of love and care and compassion for people. And I talk about, abortion and I talk about child abuse and these things, but do I cry over it? Not really. Not really. Maybe it's just because I'm a warrior. I don't know. But I definitely pray over these things, and I'm excited to join with you to say, be awake. This is a season to be awake, to protect our brood. And another thing that I failed to do as a dad is to ask my kids. I mean, I always told them what to do, okay? But I never really reached out to them. I was never reached out to. I didn't reach out to them. How are you feeling? What's going on in your world? What's happening in your life? And, I did not pull up beside them and enter into their reality as a friend. Yes, as a dad, I was authoritarian and I towed the line. But to empathize with them is also important as a parent. So I'm, it's late. Hey, all my kids are grown, but I'm doing the hard work of change and working very diligently to figure out how to sense, how I can be there for them. It's like I told my son in a text message recently, I said, I'm here for you, but I want to be there for you, which means proactivity, reaching out, doing more, not judging, not just telling this is right and this is wrong, but no, entering in. And so anyway, I got a song for you. All of a sudden I thought, I'm done. I've shared everything I want to share. And I have. But I've got a song for you. Because life is so short. And one day we will be held accountable for our entire lives. We will one day stand before the judgment seat of Christ. And our lives will be viewed. And the things that we did for the glory of God and the things that we did out of the two commands to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself, those things will pass the test of eternity. Now, again, we're not talking about salvation, all right? Our salvation is by faith alone, through Christ alone, because of what he did for us on the cross. But there's a reward system. The lives that we choose to live are going to be judged, and I want to live a life that is pleasing to the Lord, partially because eternity is a long time, and I wouldn't mind accruing some reward in heaven. So I want to be intentional about that. And years ago, I wrote this song called "Turn Up the Fire." It's a song about how the Bible talks about how the fire of God burns away the dross to purify the gold. And in our lives, tests, trials, things that come our way, those become ways that God purifies our faith and helps us to grow in that faith. And so this is that song. Turn up the fire in my life. Turn up the liar in me. Do anything you need to use my life. Turn up the fire in me. I want to see in me a life free from all these struggles that hold me down. Do anything you need to do in me so we can get this missionary off the ground. Hey! Turn up the fire in my life. Burn up the liar in me. Do anything you need to use my life. Turn up the fire in me. I want to take your message to the world. There are so many millions that are living a lie. If you come back and I haven't done nothing, I don't want to face you. I would rather die. You're advertisements. It isn't any fun, but it proves that you love me. You're my father, I'm your son. You wanna make me like you, what better thing could you do? I wanna be like you. Turn up the fire in my life, burn up the liar in me. Do anything you need to use my life. Turn up the fire in my life. Burn up the liar in me. Crank up the torch and burn the chaff away. Turn up the fire. Burn up the liar, I said. Turn up the fire in me. So said I to thee. God bless you, and God bless. Hey, Patty, good to see you there. Tim, appreciate you for being on the show. God bless you guys. Thanks for the great commentary. Have an excellent night, and sweet dreams.
We had an incredible experience with President George W. Bush, also known as John Morgan. What an event, what a spirit, what a joy. I can wholeheartedly recommend his life, his ministry. We had a congregation full of people that just thoroughly enjoyed it. And he looks exactly like President Bush. I want to tell you a true story. As I was picking him up at the airport in our city, we were waiting at the baggage claim. And as we were waiting for it, people came up. I said, "Can I take a picture with you, Mr. President?" It was remarkable. And so, he looks the part. All of his mannerisms were just fantastic. And the stories were so endearing. And our people just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a marvelous night for us, a huge success. And I'd recommend the ministry of John Morgan anytime, anywhere, to anyone.
Well, I'm the free world leader. Freedom's rolling out to you. That's right. Oh, let's roll. Well, I'm the good news instigator, compassionate conversator. This freedom is rocking and rolling on out to you. White and blue. Thanks, folks, for tuning into the John Morgan Show. I am so honored to have a few minutes to hang out with you in the afternoon. God bless you. Sweet dreams. What's that song? I like dreaming. Well, I'm glad that this is no dream. I'm so glad to have the opportunity to just share some funny stories, spend a little time together, kind of like a little appetizer before dinner. Janet Lemus, good to see you on the show. Appreciate you for stopping in. Randy, God bless you. Tim, appreciate you so much too. And Taylor, good to see you, bro. Hello, my good buddy. Taylor is a dear friend. Keith, hey bud. I appreciate you. Happy memories. Good night, everybody. God bless. See you in the morning at Pray for America.
Gina Lipsky, and I just want to give a testimonial. John Morgan's book, War on Fear, changed my life significantly. Last year I was at Free the Dream, and he gave a talk, and I had been I was robbed at gunpoint 15 years ago, and I carried that fear with me for 15 years. And at Free the Dream, after hearing him speak, I realized that it was time to let that fear go. And a small thing that is small to some people, but to me it was significant. I never took the trash out at night because I was so afraid of being in the dark. And when I got home from Free the Dream and after reading John's book, I now take out the trash every single week at night on purpose so that I can conquer that fear. And so I encourage all of you to read his book, and any fear that you're hanging on to, let it go. It's not worth it. Don't give it the power.